Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Noble. I'm Mayor Pro Tem, and I'll be filling in for the mayor tonight. Mayor Douglas is at a conference on behalf of bringing good things to Commerce City. So I apologize for us getting off to a late start. This is a hybrid meeting of the City Council. Members of the public can view this meeting live on Channel 8, the city's website, and on YouTube. Live Spanish translation services are being provided for tonight's council meeting by telephone. Please dial 720-386-9023 and use code 104091 *.
Se ofrecen servicios de interpretación en español para esta reunión del Consejo Municipal por teléfono. Marque el número 720-386-9023 y utilice el código 104091 *.
Thank you, and I will now call the meeting officially to order and ask the clerk to call roll.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Douglas.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Noble.
Present.
Councilmember Guardiola.
Present.
Councilmember Teeter.
Present.
Councilmember Sandoval.
Present.
Councilmember Kim.
Here.
Councilmember Dukes.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem, we have a quorum.
All righty, great. Please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do any council members want to amend the agenda? All right, then, I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented. Councilmember Kim
So moved.
and Councilmember Young.
Second.
The motion on the floor is to adopt the agenda as presented, and I will now ask the clerk to take a roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem, the vote is open.
Thank you.
Mayor Douglas, if you'd like to vote on this item, we would accept an
Yes.
oral vote.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll mark you as a
Thank
yes.
you. Appreciate that.
Yep.
All right, the vote is unanimous. We're moving on now to public comment. All public comment, except for those on public hearings, will occur now. Items of a personal nature should not be discussed. That means if you, your address, you don't need to give your address. If you have some sort of court case or something, don't mention that. Personnel-related matters shall be directed through the appropriate chain of command. The council may direct the city manager to follow up with certain matters, or we may speak about it during administrative council business at the end of the meeting, but we do not reply to public comment. All right, first up. Oh, and public comment is limited to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. First on the list tonight is Brandon Jimenez.
Dear council members, I return this evening as a resident who takes seriously what this council is now on record for knowing. On April 6th, the council approved the flock contract for Commerce City. On that evening, Councilmember Craig Kim, who I commend for voicing this concern because this is what I brought up that night or that evening, asked the flock representatives directly whether flock cameras could be hacked. And Flock stated, and I quote from that transcript, "We are not aware of any hacks." That is not a denial, that's a hedge. It's a dodge, and it's irresponsible branding for their company and their devices. Here are the facts that the council should now be aware of so that they are on record. Flock cameras deployed in communities like ours likely run Android 8 and 8.1, an operating system that was discontinued by Google in 2021, receiving 0 security updates for nearly 4 years now. Security research Ben Jordan has documented over 900 published CVEs for this operating system. These are common vulnerabilities and exposures cataloged in federal government databases. Jordan also demonstrated that by using a specific button on the back of the device, anyone can gain root access to it, or there's USB ports that are exposed in the back of this device that you can plug in a USB and easily hack into it, gaining root access, allowing you to install all kinds of programs, get the IP information, get the images that are stored on the camera, and so on and so forth. This is demonstrated on cameras that are identical to the ones that your vote funded. These findings were serious enough that U.S. Senator Ron Wyden and U.S. Representative Raja Krishnamurthy formally requested the FTC open a federal investigation into flock safety on the grounds of national security, stating that flock has unnecessarily exposed Americans' sensitive personal data to theft by hackers and foreign adversaries. Despite all of this, Flock continues to assure cities that their deployed cameras are secure. As you may remember, Denver had a contract with them and they rescinded it. Other communities are rescinding their Flock contracts. We might be in following suit soon, I can only imagine. I'm here as a citizen to put this council on notice. If someone in Commerce City is stalked or robbed, harassed, or abducted as a result of a known and reported security vulnerability that a third-party surveillance system has allowed to happen, you are informed that this is out there. This is what we're about to put in our community. And you will be on record for having known these risks and going forward with the contract thereafter. This is something that you'll have to explain to voters and constituents like myself, and I'd like to thank you for your time for listening to me on that issue. And thank you for also some of these other issues that are coming up tonight, like the Indigenous one and the teacher appreciation. I really, really appreciate those initiatives. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, next on the list is Nate Harris.
Thank you.
Good evening, Nate Harris, East 94th Place. Everything he said is absolutely correct. And I'm back here to tell about the really eventful past 2 weeks for Flock. So a quick recap, a month ago, council voted here to waste $4.5 million on a binding 5-year contract to install invasive, unconstitutional, and insecure surveillance systems throughout the city. Right off the bat, you'll be glad to know that all of the proposed locations have been earmarked and are being uploaded to dflock.me, which is a community-run resource that maps all the Flock and ALPR cameras locations across the country. And through its free app and resources, citizens can use its navigation feature to make sure they avoid these spy cameras if they want to, because you guys have no need to know where anybody is at any given moment. All right, so there's been a bunch of stories about Flock and ALPRs. Last week, the Institute of Justice published their findings about nationwide police using Flock to stalk romantic partners and exes. It came to light that Flock employees watched a kids' gymnastic room at a Jewish community center as part of their pitch. That was in Georgia. And last I checked, there's no license plates that are usually hang out in gyms, so that's weird. It's almost like these cameras are capable of doing more than just taking pictures of license plates. Here in Colorado, in Cherry Hills, a man keeps getting pulled over because the Flock system keeps incorrectly reading his license plate as one that's associated with a warrant. And 9 News reported on Thornton Police investigating an officer who conducted over 19,000 searches in just 2 years, only 29 of which were actually tied to an actual case. And I've reviewed Aurora's audit logs too and seen similar concerning behavior. And I would love to see what Commerce City are probably using the system for, unless the chief wants to keep up the facade that They do audits, but they just don't keep any records of when, why, how, or the results of said audits. So I'm looking forward to a response from my open records request from March when he gets a chance. Here at the state level, Senate Bill 70 would have required warrants for accessing certain ALPR data until the police departments bullied its sponsors into killing it. The Surveillance Accountability Act at the federal level, introduced by all people Lauren Boebert, can hopefully help out there. And I know for a fact all of you guys are more intelligent than Boebert, but even she can see this is a dangerous and unlawful technology that's ripe for abuse that needs to be reined in. So I'll remind everybody that City Council rushed to hitch their wagon to a terrible, terrible horse, and the majority of people simply do not want it, but you're shoving it down our throats anyway. And I'll end with this. Out of Virginia, texts show Richmond officials planning to, quote, saturate the public narrative with positive flock camera stories. That was just to justify a $30,000 contract. You guys spent $4.5 million, and I'm sure none of you would ever consider putting out propaganda to justify a terrible investment. Now, would you? Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, next is Jackie Valdez.
Good evening, council, city management. I know you guys know that I've been up here and I've made a lot of complaints. We've had some good things happen recently. The other night, Mr. Kim came out to kind of watch the area. Well, it ended up being the Cinco de Mayo weekend, so a lot of them were in the area at the time he was there. Had quite a few of them afterwards, speeding up and down at 2 o'clock in the morning. One of the things that I wanted to address tonight is the fact that we're still having the issues with the ATVs. What I don't understand is, and I thought we had this worked out, is that when the ATVs got stopped, they were gonna get a ticket. Well, we're finding out they're not getting tickets. We're gonna give them a warning. Now, this is an ATV that's been in the area that we've complained about with the kids on it. In fact, 2 weeks prior to that, they pushed it because it died on him. So one of the boys had his little sister behind him, and the cop followed him, went over and talked to the mom, but didn't give him a ticket, asked why he was out on the road with it. I was warming it up because I'm gonna take it out tomorrow. So I'm not understanding this. We're not getting any direction here. We're not getting it from council. We're not getting it from the city management. We're not getting from the police department. You know, I know that they said that, quote unquote, you know, it's a little misdemeanor and it's not real important. Well, I'll tell you what, my fence is still damaged and it is important. And I still have not gotten an answer on how my fence is gonna get fixed, because that gentleman that done the damage to my fence, he's long gone. He ain't coming back. He was from another state. He was here visiting. So he's not coming back. And these programs that they have out there that the city says that they'll help with, well, for certain reasons, I can't use those programs. And I don't think that my personal reasons should have to be involved in this. I don't think that my $10,000 deductible is gonna cover my fence being fixed. So again, I'm asking, how am I gonna get my fence fixed? Who's gonna fix it? The police department that didn't wanna even ticket him in the first place and I had to enforce it? Or city management that it's not maintaining along with council to maintain this mess? Because I've heard that every jurisdiction is dealing with the same mess, and we don't have no answers. The speeding cars, the racing, when is it gonna stop? When someone's dead again? Is that when it's gonna stop? Or when someone gets hit by an ATV or a motorbike or whatever again? When is that gonna stop? I want some answers now, not later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Council, next on the list is Christy Douglas.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, Mayor, and City Management. I'm going to keep it really short tonight. My name is Christy Douglas. I live in Ward 4. And I'm here to say that I believe democracy is on the line. The actions of this council so far clearly indicate that. I'm going to read you the definition of oligarchy. Government controlled by a few elites or powerful people. That's what's happening here. People are watching the council meetings. They see what's going on. You can pretend otherwise, but people are watching, and they see, and they know. I just want you to be aware, Commerce City's waking up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, our last speaker tonight is Ingrid Barnett.
Good evening, and thank you all for your time. First, I want to thank Councilmember Dukes for bringing this proclamation forward. Melanoma awareness and sun safety are not just niche issues. They impact every single person in this community. My name is Ingrid Barnett, and I've been a resident of Commerce City for over 20 years. In 2020, I was diagnosed with stage 2 melanoma. In 2023, my cancer metastasized to my lymphatic system and spread throughout my entire upper body. This isn't just something that I advocate for, but it's something that I live with every single day. What makes melanoma especially different is that in many cases, it's absolutely preventable, but it's not taken seriously enough, and many of us grew up thinking that sunburns were just part of being outside. What we know now is that majority of the sun damage that leads to melanoma happens right before the age of 18. That means awareness isn't just important, it's absolutely urgent. One of the ways that I've turned my experience into action is by becoming an ambassador for the Sun Aware program that's launched by the Melanoma Research Foundation. Sun Aware is a K-5 based program that focuses on 5 simple life-saving habits. Seek shade, slip on protective clothing, slap on a hat, slide on sunglasses, and apply sunscreen. It's simple, it's teachable, and it's something that we can bring directly to our local schools, our sports programs, and our families in our community. I'm also a mom of 3 amazing boys who live their best life outdoors, playing sports, being kids, being exactly what they should be doing. And as a parent, I carry the weight of knowing what could happen without proper education and protection. That's why this matters so much, not just for me, but for every family in this community. Commerce City prides itself on being a quality community for a lifetime, and supporting melanoma awareness and sun safety is exactly that, investing in the long-term health and safety of our residents, and especially our children. Designating May as Melanoma Awareness Month is more than symbolic. It's a commitment to education, to prevention, and to preventing lives. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about sunscreen, it's about making sure more people get the chance to live long, full lives in the community that we call our home. I will continue to share my story to protect the little lives so that they can live their best lives outdoors. Thank you for your time in supporting something that truly matters and impacts every single member of our community. Stay shady.
Thank you.
That concludes public comment.
Thank you very much. Members of the public were able to submit written comments online and by mail. Were written comments received by the deadline and incorporated into the updated agenda packet?
Mayor Pro Tem, yes, we received 1 written comment, which is included in the agenda packet.
Thank you very much. If follow-up is necessary, you should expect to be contacted by a staff member. We're moving on now to presentations, and very excited for this first one. These are fantastic young people. I will invite Shannon Griffin, Recreation Supervisor, forward to introduce the item. This is the Youth Commission Annual Update.
Hello, Council tonight. My name is Anna Alarcon. Shannon Griffin couldn't come today, so I just wanted to introduce our Youth Commission, Christopher Suazo and April Acevedo.
Hello, everybody. I'm Christopher Suazo. I'm the chair of Youth Commission currently, and this is April.
Hello, I am the vice chair of Youth Commission currently.
Yes. Oh. How does this work? Sorry. So we currently have 8 student vacancies and 2 adult vacancies, and we have 2 city council members, Joanna and Jose Guardiola, and then we also have 2 adult members, Robert and Michelle. Say the youth ones. Everyone.
Youth Commission consists of adult members and student members between 13 and 19 years old. That we meet the first and third Thursday of each month at Eagle Point Rec Center in the community rooms at 6:30 p.m. The duties consist of advise the City Council on Youth Matters, community service projects, volunteer events, advise PRG on future programming and activities, professional development and team bonding activities, and learn Bob's Rules of Order.
Okay, so we have 3 goals for Youth Commission, and our first goal was by June 2026, we will volunteer for 8 different events or organizations, as well as complete 2 service projects. So all youth commissioners are expected to volunteer at these events, and so we had a total of 36 volunteer hours. 36 volunteers and 57 volunteer hours. We volunteered at many different events, including Pancake Breakfast, Town Hall, Music in the Parks, Earth Day, Valentine's Day, Daddy-Daughter Dance, Boo of the Bluff, Fall Fest, and Project Present.
The service projects that we did were the toy drive for Commerce City Project Present, and we collected 7 boxes of toys to donate. We also hosted an educational craft table at the Earth Day event with $300 worth of crafts, reusable crafts from last year as well. We also sent Valentine's Day cards to senior homes. We partnered with Senior Commission. We provided cards and candy to be given out to nursing homes.
Okay. Our second goal of Youth Commission was by June 2026, we will have planned and hosted 2 town halls and partnered with 2 Commerce City high schools to bring them hot topic assemblies. So in fall of 2025, October 18th at 9 a.m. at the Civic Center, we had put on a town hall regarding boards and commissions meet and greet. So it was here, and we basically asked each boards and commissions different questions and let our community interact with our board and commissions. And then just recently, spring 2026, Town Hall, April 16th at 6:30 at Bison Ridge, we focused on safety within schools, roads, communities within Commerce Cities. We also partnered with Adams 14 and 27J school districts, and they were invited to come, and many of our community members came and went and learned and interacted with our representatives.
Our third goal, by June 2026, we will have completed 3 workshops conducted by various professionals. Bus Patrol, on February 19th, Christiana spoke on Bus Patrol. AI school bus cameras is what she came to talk to us about. We also did community well-being on March 19th. Paula Garcia spoke on Commerce City community well-being and how Youth Commission can be partnered with them. We also did resume builders. On May 7th, we plan to do a resume building session.
Yes, also with Bus Patrol, we were able to connect them with the Adams 14 school district, so we were able to do that for Bus Patrol. Also, a part of Youth Commission is that we attend conferences. So this year, we attended National League of Cities Conference in Salt Lake City. So 4 of our youth commissioners attended this conference for 4 days. While we attended, we learned about making cities accessible, public space planning, and how to make cities family more friendly. So with this conference, we came up with the idea for our town hall safety. And then also we got to do many networking with other youth from many cities across the world, and we got to learn their perspective on things and how they would go about things. These are just some pictures from the conference. We took a picture in the big NLC On the very right, there's a picture of me holding up a sign on making a safe space for people. And then in the middle, there's a conference. It was the adult conference that we attended, so we got a lot of good input and a lot of good valuable information from that part.
Other accomplishments is we approved the 2026 budget to be more efficient of allocating funds to items that are important to the Youth Commission. 5 youth commissioners attended the Youth Diversity Conference, and 3 youth commissioners attended Youth Advocacy Day at the Colorado Capitol.
Thank you for your time. Is there any questions?
Thank you very much. It's amazing to me that you go to 2 meetings a month, plus do all of these volunteer activities in Commerce City. You are definitely impressive. Thank you so much. Councilmember Dukes.
Thank you. No questions, but I just want to say thank you for your commitment to the city. And as you are future leaders here, we appreciate your time and effort to make this a great city. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you both so much. Really appreciate it. And say thanks to the youth commissioners as well.
Thank you, guys.
All right, our next presentation is recognizing City Council's 2026 retreat discussion and affirming the direction to develop the refreshed strategic plan. Who is presenting that for us tonight, please?
There's no presentation, ma'am. We have a question in front of the council with a proposed motion.
All right, I do have a question. I very specifically remember that the environment was included as one of the city council's goals because we separated it from public safety. Previously, it had been the environment and public safety together. Now it was a separate goal. So
goals were not redone, ma'am. These are your priorities that we discuss that will come at a future point in time.
that is, I'm sorry, that's not my memory. My memory is that we came up with new goals at our retreat. And that
So, ma'am, what
they
you
did
have,
not comport with the old strategic goals.
So, ma'am, you have what we presented and was provided to council for feedback.
Yes.
You did not receive feedback. And what we provided to the full council is what was documented by both our staff as well as the facilitator staff.
All right, this is my feedback that I'm providing right now.
Thank you, ma'am. We do have
Councilmember
a-
Jukes?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, city management and city team. What's reflected in here is as a council, as a retreat, we went through and talked about our top priorities for this next year. And so a part of this is 6 core areas. One is economic investment, public safety, health and well-being, which includes environmental support and needs, because you can't address environmental concerns without thinking about health and well-being as a city. Housing is a big effort, investment in infrastructure and transportation, and the last part is a transparent and effective and accountable government. I am happy with these set of goals because this is probably the most transparent and accessible council that I've been a part of. Whether we have our monthly meetups, we have our voting records online, and we also have transparent meetup and speak ups that are in person, as well as a lot of us are active on social media. And so with these, as we held our retreat, this was a great experience, real narrowed down to what we've heard from our community, and this captures that. A big issue we've heard, and we heard it tonight, is about infrastructure itself, and think about transportation and challenges across our city. And so as a council, we decided that we're gonna make this a priority when we think about infrastructure across our city and how we begin to provide funding to continue to improve roads, to accelerate projects across our city, and to begin to think about how we do a better job at keeping and maintaining the current infrastructure, in addition to balanced growth in the north. And so with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve these council retreats. So the motion here is to accept the recommendation from the city and approve as submitted with the identified goals that we agreed on as a council, and approve it at first reading.
All right, I can take a second to the motion right now, but there are several council members who wish to speak. Councilmember Guardiola, you are next. Would you like to be the second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
All right, then, and you also want to make comment?
Yeah, no, I think it was a great day with this council. Came together and really outlined a good vision for this upcoming year, so.
Thank you. Councilmember Trujillo.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I agree. I think it was a great retreat, and it does fit my recollection of what this council did discuss. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Sandoval.
Staff, thank you so much for collecting the consensus of the group during our retreat. I do want to reemphasize to everyone the 6 core areas that Councilmember Dukes mentioned which is what we're all in agreement, is the economic investment into our city, public safety, health and well-being, which includes the environment and the impacts, housing, infrastructure and transportation, and having a transparent, effective, and accountable government, because that's what we want to ensure for our community, so that everyone is aware of the decisions that council's making, and whether you may agree or not, we want to be very transparent to our community, and want to ensure that you know what our 6 core areas are for council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your comment about the health and well-being and the environment. Councilmember Dukes, did you have another comment?
I do, Mayor. I just want to emphasize this for folks online and also in person. When we talk about health and well-being, we're talking about social determinants of health. And we're thinking about this in a holistic approach that we can actually have time dedicated to listen to and understand the challenges that face our city. And so having this as a core priority means that environment's a part of that, but also access to workforce, access to transportation, access to quality housing. These are things that we all have to think about as a council to make sure that everyone in our city can have access to a quality life for a lifetime. And so that's why we as a council discussed that and thought about it in a broader sense, where it's not just anti a certain sector or for a certain sector. This is about being strategic and thoughtful about how do we help the city as a whole, north, south, east, and west parts of our city. Thank you.
City Manager Rogers, you had another comment?
Yes, ma'am. So just for additional clarification, we have goal categories, which was raised by Councilmember Dukes, and we have the more specific objective priorities that were discussed and are being ratified tonight. So we will continue to finesse and refine goal language under those categories that will connect your priorities to that umbrella. I just wanted to clarify that for the broader community.
Thank you. Mayor Douglas?
Appreciate that. No, Mayor Pro Tem, you do bring up a very important, and it gets shadowed on the environment conditions, and because we have community well-being with that, and we really need to address air quality pollution in those who do pollute and put toxins in the air. They need to be held accountable. With our water system, including the basins and fallout and drainage, that is a collected effort with South Adams, because we do not foresee our water system. Tree health is a big one. Planning program, urban canopies, heat island mitigation.
I think we have a Zoom freeze.
Yeah.
So
he's back.
I understand where you're going, Mayor Pro Tem, and I do support that. It is highlighted, but it gets shadowed, where we did want to have the environmental conditions. Those should be separate. Community well-being is in there, but I really want to make sure we are sticking to making sure people can breathe the air and reduce our pollution. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dukes, you wish to make another comment?
I do. Again, there's a motion on the table in a second. I think my comment here, just for clarity's sake, as we look at the retreat meeting notes, it clearly highlights that we're going to tackle environmental challenges such as air quality, water systems, tree health, heat island mitigation. This is the way we're going to attack it in a strategic manner so we can find solutions and move forward. The goal here is not just to talk about the issues, but actually find root causes to fix them and then hold those who are accountable for doing that as we need to, in addition to partnerships with other folks as well. And so just want to be clear with everyone here and online that this is a part of our strategic plan or our efforts, making sure that we have our highlighted goals, and this is highlighted in those goals as objectives as we work towards that. But this is a different approach than maybe what we've done in the past, because as a council, we've all agreed to make sure that this is a strategic approach so that we have actions, not just empathy alone.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Dukes, and I do believe that when there is a motion and a second on the floor, that discussion can be open, and I'm glad that everyone participated in the discussion. Thank you very much. We will now take the roll. Thank you. Roll call vote. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, the vote is open.
Thank you.
And Mayor Douglas?
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you. And the vote is unanimous. All right, we move on now to notice council business. The first item is a request for consideration of a city loan for the Advanced Manufactured Home Community Residents. This is being brought forward by Mayor Douglas and myself. Several cities across Colorado have taken meaningful steps to support mobile home park residents through funding, policy changes, and pathways to resident ownership. Communities like Denver, Lafayette, Boulder, Aspen, Fort Collins, Durango, and Aurora have emerged as leaders in these efforts, focusing on preserving affordability, preventing redevelopment, and empowering residents to purchase their communities. The residents of the Advanced Manufactured Home Community came before City Council last week, or 2 weeks ago, that is, along with their attorney. And I know that their comments resonated with so many of us at the time. It is a value, of course, of this City Council to ensure that, at least in my experience, in my previous experience, that a value was to ensure that people keep their homes and they're not displaced. This mobile home park is up for sale. And according to state law, the renters in a mobile home park have 90 days in order to match the price and to make an offer. There is money, as they explained, that will be provided by the state, but they also have a funding gap. So the motion is for staff to provide analysis of the city providing to assist Advanced Manufactured Home Community in Commerce City in purchasing the property for resident ownership, and the council to make a determination by the first meeting in June. And Mayor Douglas, you're the second?
Yes, I'll second that.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Dukes, you have a comment?
Yes, thank you. So just a question on this notice council business. So that I'm clear, this is a request from you and Mayor Douglas to provide a $3.7 million interest-free loan to one group of residents in Commerce City?
This is a motion to provide a loan as gap funding. And the city attorney, as we know, has stated that it is legal. And as I commented, it is also not without precedent in cities throughout the region.
Thank you. So just to clarify, this motion is to ask for the city manager and city staff to look at an interest-free loan in the amount of $3.7 million with taxpayer funding to help the mobile home park buy their land. Is that correct?
I did not suggest that it was without interest. I asked staff to provide an analysis of the city providing a loan
Okay.
to assist, sorry, I left that word out, a loan to assist Advanced Manufacturing Home Community in Commerce City in the purchase of their property for resident ownership, and the city council to make a determination after we receive the analysis.
Thanks, that provides clarification. My understanding is that this is a motion to ask the city staff to create an analysis about creating a loan process for a specific group of residents in our city.
That would be correct. It is a specific group in our city, that is for sure.
And to follow up to that, clarify, will this loan be available to all residents across our city?
That is something that we'll see in the analysis.
Sorry, Mayor Pro, that part is not written into this notice council business. It's just
No.
said it's Advanced Manufacturing Home Community in Commerce City.
Correct.
Are you referring that this loan, $3.7 million program, would be available to every section of our city?
Are you suggesting you have an amendment?
No, I'm asking for clarification for yours. Is that,
I have read my motion. That
Okay.
is my motion as stated.
so my understanding then is that the motion as stated is not intended to impact every part of our city. This is a analysis for a loan only for Advanced Manufacturing Home Community, correct?
Yes, again, correct. It is an analysis for a loan from the city to Advanced Manufacturing Home Community in the purchase of their property.
Thank you. And sorry, and so clarifying, I mentioned 3.7 million because that was the request that came up last week. I know not everyone was here, but that's where that dollar came from or the week before when they came and presented.
Councilmember Sandoval?
I'm going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off here. Because the clarification is that this would not be open to assisting all residents in this community, and it would be using public funds to benefit the interest of only certain 72 homeowners, to be exact, within Commerce City, I cannot support this. Of $3.7 million for 72 homeowners in Commerce City at a 0% interest-free loan. That was what was asked of Commerce City.
Councilmember Kim?
Mr. Rogers, with regards to this NCB item, can you provide some clarity as to if this process would be, is this the right way of doing it? I guess I'm struggling with the fact that I understand the group of residents, right? I understand the analysis piece of it too, but then it's not, okay, in my head, what I go to is I think about not just the one group, but it's like, okay, how does it benefit all of Commerce City then, residents, if this comes up in the future, not just one group?
Yeah. Thank you, Councilmember Kim. I would say, while it is allowed legally, I would say the discussion on the floor is not the most advantageous to the city. I think it creates a fiscal impact that sets a precedent and a community expectation that may not be able to be delivered long-term. And I think the narrow consideration brings concerns particularly that in conversations we had with this entity that is helping and supporting these 72 residents are not looking for a loan. They are not looking for any proposal that looks at interest-bearing principal, delayed principal. In short, what they are looking for is a gift, a donation to be presented to them that does not have any potential strings attached with respect to it, because it impacts the ability for underwriting. And understanding that and can appreciate that unfortunately creates some fiduciary concerns that I have, that as us being gatekeepers for the funding that's being presented for a benefit that's being offset. And don't get me wrong, humanitarian-wise, yes, we want to be able to keep residents within their homes, but with the lack of an effective and efficient process, qualifying criteria to ensure various eligibility, and trying to do it from a pilot perspective and then applying it more broadly seems backwards as opposed to looking at the broader community.
One last question. Was there other avenues or other resources provided to them? And if so, what were they?
I think in the conversation that we had with the Community Land Trust and the legal team that's representing the property owners, there is an external revenue source that we believe that the city has access to and can provide as a pass-through to a participating agency. If willing to work with us in that partnership, that would be able to advance some of their goals, but we would need to do our due diligence to confirm whether or not they are defined as an eligible use under those funds. And those funds would be private activity bonds. That is an annual allocation that we receive as a city from the state through their Department of Labor Affairs, or Local Affairs, excuse me.
Thank you. I would like to point out that that's precisely what I'm asking for in this motion, except for to provide it to us in June, for the staff to actually do due diligence in an analysis as opposed to here at the table. Mayor Douglas?
Yes, I appreciate that. You know, that night we had several people come forward to speak, and I did ask, hey, there's one representative left to come out of the 5 or so that were going to come up, you know, and actually talk for the group. The council asked, hey, Mayor, let them come up forward and speak. And since they're here, we want to hear from them. So I thought there was a big, strong, you know, advocating for those 70 groups of people and looking at an avenue. Now, I know several years ago, we gave a developer $7 million to create 96th Avenue. There was no homes there then. And in lieu of that community losing a park. Now, we're talking, that was $7 million. I'm not sure if we got that money all paid back just yet. I didn't know what those terms were. But if there are other ways that we could help these people out, even if it's a $1, $2, $3, it's one of those things that when they came to us on the 11th hour, if things were done differently, we would not be in this situation. So at least give them an opportunity. And then for this to say how this is going to benefit others, it will benefit. It will benefit the city. If this is successful, other communities within our city might end up being in the same situation. So we need to figure this out. This is not the first, it won't be the last of community asking us for money. Now it's okay that we do other things, take money out of our general fund to fund other sources that may not seem to help everybody out because of where those are placed. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilmember Trujillo?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So what I'm hearing, City Manager Rogers, is that there is currently no existing program or funding mechanism for this type of an ask. by
That
the
is-
mobile home community.
Yes, ma'am, thank you for that. Yes, that is correct. There is no current program.
Thank you. Acting without that kind of framework seems to me to put the city at a significant risk, legally and financially. It's a very hard, sad situation. You know, I know there are other cities that have affordable housing funds to assist in these type of issues. The really sad part about this is that unfortunately, this mobile home community is not going to be the first of our residents that will be facing financial difficulties now or in the future. And so because of the lack of inclusivity, I unfortunately will not be able to support this motion. But I would be happy to support creating an affordable housing fund for future projects such as this. I also do want to mention that I did reach out also to our housing authority on this issue. And, you know, this legislation that was passed at the state level gives very tight time limits within which, you know, for these folks to comply. And it's a very tight 90-day window. And unfortunately, time is just not going to be working in their favor on this. So again, I would not be able to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Trujillo. I do want to point out that I've been part of 2 city councils that provided millions of dollars twice to homeowners who were behind on mortgages or behind on rent. This was using the ARPA funding. The first time was shortly after the COVID shutdown, when there was a first tranche of money that came. And then more recently, Commerce City received $10 million, and we had a mortgage and rental assistance program then as well. And in fact, it is now April. We have over $4 million left in that fund. So I would encourage anyone who is having mortgage difficulties or rent difficulties to apply to the city for those funds. We would not want that money to be returned to the federal government at the end of the year, which is exactly what will happen if that money doesn't go out the door. It's really, really important to me that you're able to take advantage of this. This is what we wanted, was to be able to keep people in their homes when so many people were confronted by economic challenges. Councilmember Sandoval.
I have a few different things that I wanted to bring up. One for our city attorney. Question for you. I understand that this is legally possible. Is it prudent and in good legal fashion to do something of this nature on behalf of the city?
So I thank you for offering me the opportunity to speak. I want to be clear. So the question that was posed to me was very narrow, which is whether the city could expend funds for purposes of supporting affordable housing and keeping residents housed under Colorado law. And the short answer is yes, there is a public purpose in providing those funds. That is a very different analysis than potentially offering an interest-free loan or potentially offering a gift. Those are 2 separate legal analyses that would need to be conducted. I've not conducted those analyses, in large part because it was not clear at the time that that motion was made by council what exactly the folks that showed up for the public comment were requesting. So again, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that then it's not a blanket, this is legal. It depends largely on what this is. With regards to your question about whether or not it is prudent, I respectfully I understand my lane, which is the legal lane. I think that's a question that is more appropriate to the city manager as far as running the business, the finances of the city. To the extent that the city manager and staff identified potential solutions, they would certainly run that through myself and my office to make sure that it is legally defensible.
City Manager Rogers, you mentioned PAB funds. What would be the process to tap into those PAB funds to allocate to the Housing Authority to distribute for this reason?
That's a very good question, ma'am. If the Housing Authority, if they understand, if there is a financial opportunity to receive those PABs from the city and they're willing to consider, it is a act of resolution by the city council to assign the allocation that we receive from the state. And I want to be, particular about this, is that while the city does not have a affordable housing program and/or right for requesting inclusionary housing as part of new development, the private activity bonds, which is an external source, is able to fund affordable multifamily housing that is either new construction or the acquisition and rehabilitation of low to moderate incomes individuals, which this development, which this mobile home park may be able to qualify. We would have to do our due diligence to ensure that level of eligibility. But being able to assign that allocation is a very straightforward process in which the staff would bring a resolution to the council qualifying it against the criteria established by the state, to which then that assignment is then made to a dispersing entity, whether it is the Housing Authority or a community land trust in which they're working as an example, to which then they are able to apply that towards their capital stack for the project. In essence, removing any potential programmatic needs and/or direct attachments by the city to said project. That then preserves our fiduciary role, but also from a policy perspective of whether or not from a social services, is this the right thing that we should be doing, or should we be activating the appropriate resources that are available to us, state and nonprofit and or non-governmental, to be able to make those determinations.
Okay. And one last question. The mobile home park is being sold and they have the residents have 90 days. When is the 90-day time frame up?
Their 90-day time period is up June 17th. If there is any inclination that there may be able to receive some form of a commitment from the city, whether that is through the exploration of private activity bonds or other, my recommendation would be PABs if we can qualify the eligibility, then they may be able to seek an extension of that 90 days from the seller of the property, given if they're able to demonstrate that there is a process in progress that will be able to allow for commitment of those dollars that will then ultimately be available at time of closing, which they anticipate is October.
Thank you. I think my time's up.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Trujillo?
You want to go ahead? Go ahead. Okay. Okay, thanks. Going back to the property activity bonds, City Manager Rogers, that's not money, right? That there has to be funds that are still raised from that, correct?
So the private activity bonds are, in a sense, bonds that would be issued by an entity, quasi-public or public, but they have already been affirmed with funding or backing from the state. So they've already given a formulaic allocation. So we have, as it stands, $4,731,746 that we can make available to qualifiable projects under one of the various categories. Those bonds, which are tax exempt, have already been viewed as a successful placement. So the state is already affirming that that money will be available for that project. No different than what we've done a couple of years ago, where we assigned our $3.5 million of private activity bonds to affordable housing development. It helped to be able to show the lenders that, yes, that when those bonds are sold, that the money will firm up, but it is there in the state's eyes. It's just how they sell those bonds on the free market, but the money has already been put aside, per se, within their statewide balance. And if we don't use it, it then goes back to the statewide balance and being able to apply it more broadly by their own application.
Councilmember Dukes?
Thank you, and thank you, City Manager Rogers, for explaining an alternative of thinking about PAB and working with DOLA for a grant. Unfortunately, that's a separate conversation, I think. I think what's being presented here is essentially providing a gift in $3.7 million to advance mobile home community. I cannot support that. I will support if there's another admin council business to talk about an alternative method to work with PAB funds and DOLA and direction to help you go that route. But the way this is set up, this is too narrow. It's not supporting all of our residents in our city, and we're using taxpayer dollars to fund private matters. I would like to call for the vote on this, and so that we can move forward and look at other alternatives. So that's my motion to call for the vote.
We do have another comment from Councilmember Sandoval, and I would like to comment as well. However, if you wish to make a motion to call for the end of discussion, it requires a second, and then it needs a supermajority to close discussion. I do want to make the point, however, that I was merely asking in the motion for the city manager and staff to come back in the first meeting in June with alternatives, an analysis of doing a loan. If it was inappropriate, then we would find out then. When I submitted last Tuesday, you've clearly had time since then to invest time in it. The point of notice council business is to determine whether the council wants staff to devote any time to an issue.
Point of order, Mayor Pro Tem. I have a motion on the table.
I
I'm waiting for
understand.
a
You
second.
don't have a second yet.
Yeah.
Who is the second, please?
I'll second.
Sandoval?
I
Councilor Sandoval?
I will second that, but before I second that, I do want to ask a question in clarification. Mayor Pro Tem brought up that there was 2 previous instances where previous council members made a motion to support private purchases or funding for rental assistance. From my understanding, those are ARPA dollars that are not city funds. Those are state or federal funds, correct? Those are external sources, similar to what we're talking about, PAB funds?
So initially, during the COVID pandemic, COVID-19 dollars were applied, I believe in approximately $500,000 towards rental emergency and assistance. When those funds terminated, the city council took action in utilizing unassigned general fund balance, which has now become a part of our base budget of, I believe, $250,000 or $500,000 annually towards a continuing program that is not renewable. So once again, we are utilizing city dollars for a social service in the provisions of our emergency mortgage rental assistance. I think that falls within this broader kind of discussion of, is it appropriate? Should it be something that we continue given and knowing that while it's been beneficial, it is relying on our funding sources and not grants and or federal assistance outside of the ARPA dollars that were received, to where we have applied a certain dollar amount and are nearly fully subscribed in that dollar amount for mortgage and rental assistance. So I would say it started out as a federal award through COVID-19 in response to the pandemic. And then when those dried up, it was then the city took on a responsibility of continuing that program. We have not done a full debrief of whether or not that program is sustainable in the long term, knowing the draw and the fiscal impact that it has on our budget year to year. But we're talking about, in some vein, a similar discussion with creating a program to issue a forgivable loan or a grant or a donation, however the analysis would lead to. Similarly, that would come out of the general fund budget, and it would have to look at the long-term strain and impacts to it.
Thank you.
Okay, stop. We have a motion on the floor. You are the second. We're now taking a roll call vote on, it is supermajority, right?
Correct, thank you. Can I please
Sure.
explain as your parliamentarian? So I
Yes,
think
please.
words certainly matter here. There are opportunities where council may say, I'd like to call the question. To the extent that no council member objects, then the question can be called by the presiding officer. That is distinguishable from a motion to close debate. A motion to close debate requires a 2/3 vote. When you have a motion to close debate, you have a seconder, and it is not a debatable motion, so you call the question immediately. So there's not any back and forth once the motion once the motion to close debate has been seconded.
Correct. And we are close the debate, correct?
You are correct.
Okay. All right. City Clerk, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem, the vote is open.
Thank you.
And Mayor Douglas.
No.
Okay.
All right, the motion passes. Debate is closed. All right, we're moving on now to the consent agenda.
Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, point of order, we have to vote on this notice council business.
Yes, it's 6-3. Is that what you wanted? 6, yes,
That was
3, no.
That was a closed debate.
That was closed debate, yes.
That was
Oh, all right, yep, so we closed debate, sorry about that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Councilmember Dukes. Now we are going to vote on the motion that I read earlier, which was for staff to provide an analysis for the city providing a loan to assist Advanced Manufacturing Home Community in Commerce City in purchasing the property for resident ownership and for the city council to make a determination.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem, the vote is open.
Thank you.
Councilmember Sandoval and Mayor Douglas.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes items that are routine, procedural, informational, self-explanatory, or non-controversial. These items are presented to council for a single motion and a vote. Any member of council may ask to remove a specific item off the consent agenda for further discussion and a separate vote. Tonight, there are 21 items on the consent agenda. Do any council members wish to remove an item? Councilmember Trujillo? Is that from leftover? All right. Let me clear these. I'm clearing the screen. If you wish to remove something from the consent agenda, would you please? All right, Councilmember Kim?
Yes, I'd like to remove Proclamation 26-019.
Thank you. Councilmember Sandoval?
I would like to remove Proclamation 26-036.
Thank you very much. I'm pulling ordinance 2771 and V 725-0002 and 725-0006. Thank you. Councilmember Kim, would you like to discuss your item? 26019.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have to go. Mayor Pro Tem, you got to go through the consent agenda vote first before we go into the ones that were pulled.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Councilmember Kim. You know, it's what you count on when you work on a city council is that everybody pitches in and helps, especially when you're the one filling in. So thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. And I love the smile on Councilmember Young. She feels the same way, I could see. All righty, we're going to take a vote on the items that were not removed from the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We just need a motion and a second on the consent.
All right, we need a motion and a second. Councilmember Sandoval?
I think that's left over.
Okay, let's clear the screen again. All right, Councilmember Dukes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Councilmember Kim.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I will read the remaining items on the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Minutes 26-073, minutes of the April 13th, 2026 special meeting. Proclamation 26-014, a proclamation declaring May 5th, 2026 as Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Day. Proclamation 26-015, a proclamation declaring May 2026 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in Commerce City, Colorado. Proclamation 2026-016, a proclamation declaring May 4th through 8th, 2026 as Teacher Appreciation Week. Proclamation 2026-017, a proclamation declaring May 6th through 12th, 2026 as National Nurses Week in Commerce City, Colorado. Proclamation 2026-018, a proclamation declaring May 17th, 2026 as Kids to Parks Day in Commerce City, Colorado. Proclamation 2026-037, a proclamation declaring May 8th, 2026 as Provider Appreciation Day in Commerce City, Colorado. Proclamation 26-038, a proclamation declaring May 4th, 2026 through May 8th, 2026 as Economic Development Week in Commerce City, Colorado. Proclamation 2026-040, a proclamation declaring May 2026 as Melanoma Awareness Month in Commerce City, Colorado. Ordinance 2745, an ordinance amending the 2026 budget of the City of Commerce City, Colorado by the recognition of statewide Internet Portal Authority funds in the amount of $425,000 for the Gov Grant program and authorization of the expenditure thereof. Ordinance 2753, an ordinance amending the 2026 budget of the City of Commerce City, Colorado by the recognition of Department of Local Affairs Homelessness Resolution Program grant funding in the amount of $75,000 and the authorization of the expenditure thereof. Ordinance 2769, an ordinance closing and eliminating Fund 700 Special Improvements Districts and transferring the remaining funds in the amount of $88,752.13 into the general fund. Ordinance 2770, an ordinance amending Ordinance 1291, which established the Commerce City Solid Waste Management Disposal Enterprise and its related fund to comply with current accounting standards. Ordinance 2776, an ordinance amending the 2026 budget of the City of Commerce City, Colorado by authorizing the transfer of opioid settlement funds from the general fund to the Urban Renewal Authority in the amount of $40,000 for the Bridge Houses Ready to Work program and the authorization of the expenditure thereof. Resolution 2026-025, a resolution authorizing award of a contract for new Microsoft Enterprise Agreement to Insight Public Sector, Inc. Resolution 2026-046, a resolution authorizing First Amendment to the Agreement for Professional Services with MCCI LLC, formerly operating as ECS Imaging, Inc. And that is the last of them. I will open the vote.
Thank you very much.
And Mayor Douglas.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that passes unanimously. All right, now I'll go to Councilmember Kim, 26-1019.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. This is a proclamation declaring the week of May 17th to the 23rd as Public Works Week in Commerce City. And I hear we have a few Public Works staff here. And first and foremost, I'd like to invite Ms. Jenna Hahn to read the proclamation.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. Thank you for this opportunity to bring forward the 2026 Public Works Week proclamation. As you listen to the reading, you'll hear about the essential services our Public Works team provides to the Commerce City community each day, services that are critical to keeping the city running smoothly. This is a remarkable team, nearly 200 strong when fully staffed. The majority of them begin their workdays before 7 a.m., including the majority of the folks who are with us this evening. They serve our community in every condition, day and night, with both professionalism and dedication, and I am proud to stand alongside our team and members of their family this evening. Without further ado, I'd like to begin the reading of the proclamation. Whereas the services provided by Public Works are essential to the everyday lives of residents and the overall functioning of our community, and
whereas Public Works professionals are responsible for the planning, design, construction, and maintenance of critical infrastructure, including the city's roadway network, capital assets, stormwater systems, public facilities, fleet, parks and open space, snow operations, and waste and recycling administration, all of which are vital to building a resilient community. And
whereas these essential services could not be delivered without the expertise and dedication of skilled public work professionals, including engineers, licensed professionals, maintenance teams, seasonal workers, managers, and administrative staff, whose daily work all supports the health, safety, comfort, and overall well-being of Commerce City residents. And
whereas Public Works Week honors the deep commitment that public work professionals have to their communities, recognizing both the highly visible work and the critical, unseen work which together form the foundation of thriving communities. And
whereas the roots of service run deep in the public works profession, reflecting generations of innovation and dedication that empower communities to evolve. And
whereas it is the public interest for all citizens and municipal leaders to understand and appreciate the critical role that public works staff and programs play in our community. And
whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, celebrating the contributions of public works professionals across the country. And
now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Commerce City hereby proclaims the week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week in Commerce City. And
be it further resolved that we encourage all residents to join us in encouraging and honoring our public works professionals for their invaluable contribution and for exemplifying what it means to be rooted in service and powered by community.
We're going to take a photo in a moment, but first I'm going to do the next proclamation, and then we will take a break and do photos for both proclamations. Councilmember Sandoval?
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge first that all of these proclamations are extremely important, but I wanted to take time to read the proclamation for National Small Business Week. And it states, whereas entrepreneurship plays a vital role in shaping Commerce City's economic future by generating opportunity, strengthening local industries, and fostering innovation across our community, and whereas Commerce City is home to a diverse network of small businesses that reflect the character, culture, and resilience of our residents. And whereas the city is committed to advancing an inclusive business environment by expanding access to resources, strengthening partnerships, and supporting pathways for business growth and workforce development. And whereas through collaboration with community partners, educational institutions, and industry leaders, Commerce City continues to build a strong and connected entrepreneurial ecosystem. And whereas local businesses contribute not only to economic growth, but also to the identity and vitality of our neighborhoods. And whereas Small Business Week provides an opportunity to highlight the impact of small business and encourage continued community support for local entrepreneurs. Now therefore be it resolved that City Council of Commerce City, Colorado hereby recognizes May 3rd through May 9th as Small Business Week and urges the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small business and merchants on Small Business Week and shop small throughout the year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll now take a photo with all the Public Works folks who are here. Thank you. Do we have any small business owners who are here this evening? If so, please come to the front of the room.
Mayor, if you want to look directly into the camera, we can get a good picture of you.
That'd be lovely.
Thanks, Steve.
I will take a vote on all the consent agenda items that have been pulled at the end.
Okay.
All right. I pulled ordinance 2771. This is an ordinance amending the 2026 budget of the City of Commerce City by reappropriating remaining American Rescue Plan Act funds as well as donations, Metro Football Stadium District Share, et cetera, and authorizing the expenditure thereof. I want to pull this item because I wanted to take the opportunity to let everyone know that the ARPA fund carryover is $4.9 million, a little over $4.9 million. You can apply for the various programs that are still under ARPA by going to Commerce City Act. Just Google that, Commerce City Act, and you can apply for available funds. That does still include, as I noted earlier, rent and mortgage. That was the only reason I wanted to pull that item, to draw attention to that.
And Mayor Pro Tem, if I may interject, I would ask for a first and a second and vote on this.
You want to
item
vote on each of them?
Yeah, please,
All
on
righty.
these ordinances particularly.
Should we go back to the proclamations too then, Mr. Ruger?
Yeah, let's start with the
All right.
proclamation. We'll just go down the list and do all three.
Absolutely. Happy to do so. 26019, which is the proclamation declaring Public Works Week.
Yeah, we need a motion and a second, then we can call the vote.
I'd like to make a motion to approve proclamation for Public Works Week.
Second?
Thank you. The vote is open. And Mayor Douglas.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Councilwoman Sandoval went to the restroom.
Thank you. Mayor Douglas is a yes. We will put him
All
on
right.
the list.
That's unanimous, and we have one temporary absence at the moment. We have then proclamation 26-036, and this is the proclamation for Small Business Week.
I'd like to make a motion to approve proclamation 26-036.
Councilor Teeter?
Second the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. The vote is open. And Mayor Douglas.
Yes, please.
And that passes unanimously with one absence. I just discussed ordinance 2771, and I would like to make a motion to pass ordinance 2771. Is there a second? Councilor Teeter?
Second the motion.
This is moving. Councilor Gardiola?
A second.
I should have gone with Teeter. It was easier for me to say. My apologies. Did you second it?
Yeah.
All righty, thank you. All right, we have a first and a second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The vote is open. And Mayor Douglas.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, we have unanimous vote with one absence. All right, I have pulled the next two, V25-0002 and Z25-0006. Primarily, I am doing so for full transparency. These would typically be first hearings because they're land use matters, but they are actually in the consent calendar. So Mr. Zarzeki or Mr. Rogers, could you explain why we're going to have these in the consent calendar as opposed to having at least a perfunctory hearing for the first item? I mean, for the first hearing, first reading?
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The city attorney and I were just figuring out who's Stockton and Malone, so I'm gonna try to set this pick, and then if not, he'll roll. We have taken fundamental steps in establishing a new process which moves the public hearing, simplistically for the community who if they're watching, that moves the public hearing to the second reading. The first reading is simply an introduction of the item, which allows for the item on the agenda to be reviewed with an expectation to understand that the deliberation will occur at the second meeting, the decision will occur at the second meeting, and remove any potential confusion that when the public hearing is closed, it is closed and no further comments will be could be received. So in essence, it's giving more transparency and more time to the community to be able to digest information and materials and have an expectation that when they are present for the public hearing, that they will be able to engage and provide feedback to the decision makers, which are you and your colleagues on council. City Attorney, if I've missed anything, by all means, please.
No, you have not.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll start with V25-0002. I have pulled this item in the interest of full transparency and to ensure that residents are informed. An ordinance vacating a portion of Buckley Road between East 112th Avenue and East 120th Avenue in Commerce City, Colorado. And that public hearing will occur on second reading for the June 1st council meeting. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve V25-0002. Is there a second? Councilor Dukes?
Second.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for reading the title, so I don't have to. I will open the vote. And Mayor Douglas.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
And the vote is unanimous with one absence. All right, moving on to Z25-0006. And this is again in the interest of full transparency, so that residents are informed. There will be a second reading on this item around June 15th. It says estimated June 15th council meeting. And I'll let Mr. Ruger read this one aloud. Oh, do I have a second? Sorry, let me do a second. Councilmember Kim is a second?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. V25-0002, an ordinance vacating a portion of Buckley Road between East 112th Avenue and East 120th Avenue, Commerce City, Colorado. And the vote is open. And Mayor Douglas.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
And the vote is unanimous. I will be pulling these going forward. Thank you very much. Looks like we're now at administrative council business. So do any council members have administrative business items of an emergency or unforeseen circumstance? Councilmember Kim? No? All right, Councilmember Guardiola?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, I'd like to motion directing the city manager and staff to explore the eligibility of Advanced Mobile Home Park as a use under private activity bonds to serve as a bridge funding for acquisition of the park by the tenants and identify potential partners to serve as the recipient to disperse funds in support of the acquisition. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Guardiola. Is there a second? Councilmember Kim?
Second.
Okay, thank you. I would have been more than happy to accept a friendly amendment earlier in the evening. I'm not sure why it's being done this way. However, you obviously have a prepared motion, so it was prepared in advance. Councilmember Sandoval.
I support that. I was going to second that, but we can take the vote.
I'm requesting to speak. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. A couple times I pushed my button during the discussion and was not called on during that discussion. A number of times my button's been pushed and have not been called. This was not done. After our discussion, I asked our staff to see if we could get a motion, and they sent me a motion. So I would have brought it up during the discussion, but didn't have the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I did not at any time see your name, other than when I called on you during the discussion. Councilmember Dukes.
Thank you for, I just thank you, Councilmember, for bringing this up. I know this is a sensitive topic of how do we provide support for residents across all of our city, and listen to the city manager tonight and explaining the possibility of working with the PAB dollars. I'm in favor of this action. It is a clear step of like, how do we provide existing resources within an existing program that we can help support not only this situation, but if there's other mobile home units and things in the future, this is an opportunity that we can explore. Again, the other reason I'm excited about this pathway is it does not take away from taxpayers' dollars to provide funding internally to a private matter. This is using state funding and using an opportunity for us. Sorry, I would like to reclaim my time on that one. I don't know. This is using state funding to help us solve and find a way to have partnerships. So thank you for bringing this together, and I think whatever comes to the forefront on seeing if they are the quote was like eligible criteria within the existing framework, I'll be excited to learn more about that.
Mayor Douglas?
Mayor Douglas.
Mayor Douglas, oh, yeah, thanks.
Sorry about that. Yes, I was just when it came up during our friendly amendments. And this is another way of funding dollars, but it's still tax dollars. It's not free money. It's still state tax money. It's just being appropriated a different way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Obviously, I would be more than happy to do absolutely anything to help the tenants in this manufactured home park. So if this is what wins the votes, then I'm all for it. Any other comments? All right, would you please call the vote?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The vote is open. And Mayor Douglas, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
The vote is unanimous. Thank you, everyone.
So this actually message probably goes out to Mr. Rogers or Mr. Zarzecki. Just a quick question. So the Daniel Chappie James Jr. Military Lodge 27 wants to come before City Council to present the Commerce City Veterans Commission a plaque for their service that they assisted with last year for the Toys for Tots initiatives. One of the things that was mentioned to me by that group was more so just the fact that it'd be great if we could have council here with the Veterans Commission and take just a photo op essentially. I don't know if a motion needs to be made on that or not to try to do something prior to council on the 18th, May 18th.
A motion's not necessary. I think timing is, more important. Do you want to do it before the meeting? If there's a desire to want to do it during the meeting, obviously, if it's during the meeting, we would put it on as a presentation of the plaque to the Veterans Commission and to the council at large. But if there is openness to doing it in advance of the meeting, we have in the past done recognitions of various accomplishments and have had council there for picture taking before we've actually jumped into the meeting. So I think it's more of a preference, and I am more than willing to work around the VAF, I believe, as necessary to make that happen.
Okay, so does it, I mean, honestly, I guess for the rest of the council, it doesn't matter if it's before, like 5 minutes before council starts, we can get a quick photo and all that, I guess as a presentation, does that work? Yes. Okay. Seems like that'll work then. I'll be sure I can pass that information back on to, actually probably Mr. Kleeman. Tim Kleeman would be the guy that is actually running the Veterans Commission, I believe, to let them know that.
We'll connect with the Veterans Commission liaisons to get with that group as well as with the VAF. If you have a contact, I would just ask that you send it my way.
I'll send it your way. Thank you. That's all.
Anyone else? All right, we go to reports. City Manager Rogers.
Thank you, ma'am. Do not have much to share at the council outside of a couple of things that I've sent to you and by email, as actually was published in my weekend review. Big thing is that we now have Speak Up that you can do in person. Obviously, we had our first event last week at Eagle Point with the Speak Up series. I believe we had well over 90 individuals come through that event over the course of the 2 hours. So that blew out last year's record of where we had 53 people show up. So each year we're getting more and more involved. But I'm excited also to share that we now do also have Speak Up as a platform online that for various policy decision-making matters and or projects that are being done by the city, it will allow for our community to be able to provide feedback and context to us when we want to engage in different forums. So excited about that technological opportunity that we are providing to our community. As it pertains, I just want to give a shout out to my Public Works team again for their continued great work. And the one thing I do want to highlight as part of our hotshot crew, they continue to attack various areas of high priority with what we're seeing. And just in 1 week alone, they have hauled over 36 to 40 tires out of these high priority areas, as well as participating and providing support to RTD in maintaining the community appearance of clearing out receptacles, even though it's not necessarily our primary responsibility, but those corridors are. So once again, just another shout out to PW for all the continued good work that they do. Our community well-being team in partnership with 180 Church hosted The Well. As you know, that provides grab-and-go meals. They provided 52 grab-and-go meals with their last The Well meeting, so a lot of good work there. And last but not least, with public safety, our CCPD hosted their Cops for Inclusion event back on April 25th. We had, like I said, 35 families that were in participation, and it's just a wonderful engagement opportunity for those within the autism spectrum. So once again, community engagement all around in different formats that provide support to our community, and I am proud to be able to lead such a dedicated and committed group of individuals in our organization.
Thank you. City Attorney Zarzaki.
No report from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Council reports. Councilmember Young.
Last week, I had an opportunity with Councilmember Trujillo to go to the Community College of Aurora luncheon, and I just continue to be really grateful and really amazed by our partnership with Community College of Aurora. I believe they highlighted some of the students who are residents of Commerce City who are attending CCA, and it's a life-changing impact that this partnership is making, and I'm really proud to be part of Commerce City and part of this partnership. So I just want to give my kudos to our staff for putting that together.
Thank you, Councilmember Guardiola.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Couple things. Kudos to the staff. I attended the Community Wellbeing Fair at Our Lady Mother Church, and amazing resources, tons of folks there. Good job again. I think, once you're out there and you go to these events, you're seeing all the resources that are provided for our residents, from just a variety of it: education, housing, medic. So again, that was a super cool event that I got to attend. Attended the Buffalo Run groundbreaking, huge accomplishment for being 30 years old and the expansion. Talked to some residents about the golfing and the grill or the restaurant, and they're super excited, the expansion. I attended with Councilmember Teeter the Q-Tip meeting, Quick Trip meeting at Bell Creek because of the closure. I just saw that, just to put it out there, that the closure is going to be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Should be done Wednesday. If there's any delays, we'll put that out there. And then attended the Speak Up event. That was my first one. I kind of came to the end of it, but what a super cool event where we could hear from our residents. So all these events, again, wouldn't be possible without the staff. And so, again, much props to all of y'all who work on these. Like I tell residents, you guys do the day-to-day, man. And I am super proud to sit up here and know that I could trust y'all in putting these events. So thank you.
Councilmember Sandoval.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Also attended the Speak Up Commerce City. Thank you, staff, for putting that together, and also for all the individuals that were staffing the event. A lot of great information. I also took it upon myself to have the opportunity to ask questions, so that was even helpful to me. So thank you for that. I also attended I was invited by a Metro District to just meet with residents, and that was really nice because it gave me an opportunity to meet individuals that are not typically at our city events, and it was a way for me to communicate with them some of what the city's agenda is, and then also just provide resources that I was able to pick up at the Speak Up Commerce City event as well, and share that with the community. And I think that's I really recommend that as an opportunity to connect with some of the Metro districts within your ward, if you have any, just because that you do have a different group of individuals that show up to those meetings versus some of the city events that we host on a regular basis. And it was a very intimate setting. It was very, very nice. So I did wanted to share that. That's all. Thank you.
Councilmember Dukes?
Thank you. I just want to let everyone know I was able to also attend the Speak Up event. Thank you, City. Thank you, City staff, for putting on that event. It was a great turnout. It's always great to be listening to residents as they're coming in and out and talk about some of the challenges that they're facing, and also a lot of excitement. I can't share enough how many times folks were just excited about the rec center and what's available there and the access it is as a true community space. So I want to give a kudos to our Parks, Rec, and Golf for that. I also was at the groundbreaking for the remodel of the Buffalo Run Golf Course, and that was a great experience. And it was great because the residents were there, but it was also great because Councilmember Teeter, I want to just give you your shout out to be able to be a part of the original groundbreaking and seeing and having the vision for having that golf course out there and then be a part of this refresh that's much needed 30 years later. So thank you for your leadership and still being a part of the city. The last is just I was able to attend the Derby and the Derby, and that was put on by the Chambers. What a great event, packed house for businesses, and they even had horses out the front, in the front of the Key Bank, and it was great to see just the city leaning into it. And it was a great event, so I look forward to attending that next year, but that's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mayor Douglas?
Yes, thank you. I also attended the College Beyond Walls with Councilmember Young, Councilmember Trujillo. And, it's my first event attending with their Aurora Community College. It's just some of the good things they're providing for our citizens. Also attended the Memorial Day Parade planning. And this year we're going to go with 2 bands. Everything seems like it's going to be on track. Also attended the Senior Commission Luncheon and Learn, along with Mayor Pro Tem. They talked about elderly fraud and prevention, and really well attended. I appreciate the seniors that participated and the Senior Commission for helping the community out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I attended Speak Up at Eagle Point. I love going to those. I love seeing the people who were there and having talks with them. I especially also like talking with all the staff. There was a great turnout at all the tables by staff, and I really appreciate them coming and wanting to share what gives them joy every single day and helping residents where they can. I also was at the Buffalo Run Clubhouse groundbreaking. That was a momentous occasion. It's taken us a while to get to that point, but I'm thrilled we're there. And also, I want to take a moment to appreciate the folks at Buffalo Run Clubhouse, at Bison Grill in particular, the servers, who may not be continuing on with Commerce City. And just to know that so many of us consider them family. Everywhere I posted about the groundbreaking, there's always been someone who said, what's happening with the servers? They were wonderful to us. So I just want everyone to know who might be listening that I feel exactly the same way and was very happy to be there on the last night for the last dinner. There were tears all around. It was quite a lovely, lovely evening. I also want to point out that CDPHE, Air Pollution Control Division, has released the Colorado Refinery Report. This is an invitation-only in-person meeting, specifically for residents, organizations, and agencies local to Commerce City to talk about the data and the report's findings. That'll be May 14th at Eagle Point at 1 o'clock. The last report that we had on admission exceedances for Suncor for January 15th to February 15th was for 12 exceedances, and do keep in mind they're allowed to pollute. They are not allowed to exceed those pollution limits, and they self-report when that occurs. That is the latest date, though, February 15th, so that doesn't include the smoke event that we had recently. Anyway, we are now, anyone else? I think we got everybody covered here. So we now move on to an executive session. I need a motion and a second to enter into an executive session of the City Council pursuant to CRS 24-6-402 4F1 for the purpose of discussion of personnel matters, specifically to discuss performance standards of the city manager. Is there any discussion? All right, the motion on the floor is to enter into an executive session of the City Council pursuant to CRS 24-6-402 4F1 for the purpose of discussion of personnel matters, specifically to discuss performance standards of the city manager. Councilmember Kim?
Yeah, for clarification, it should be I, F and I, not F and one.
4FI, correct.
4FI.
Oh,
It's
not an
the
I in
font
the-
that's not clear. Yeah, it's the font.
But
That's an L. It's actually an L.
I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Kim. And a second, Councilmember Young?
I second.
All right, thank you. So, City Clerk Ruger, you can repeat that motion and say it correctly,
Certainly. The
because
motion
I know
was-
you will.
No worries. The motion was to enter into an executive session of the City Council pursuant to CRS Section 24-6-402 4FI for the discussion of personnel matters, specifically to discuss performance standards of the city manager. And I will open the vote. And Mayor Douglas.
Yes, please.
All right, the vote is unanimous. Council will not be returning to take action following the executive session. The meeting will be immediately adjourned following the executive session. The meeting broadcast and recording will now be ended. Have a good evening, everyone. The adjournment time is now 8:02 p.m. Seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
And Mayor Douglas will be sending.
Okay.